Hello there.
Hello there indeed. Josh Lloyd here, ready to look at what I'm looking for in Friday's games across the NBA. No wasting time, let's get into it. The first game is the Celtics and the Pistons. I want to see Peyton Pritchard. I want to see how many minutes he gets in comparison to Jeff Teague. I want to see where he fits into that rotation. I want to see how good he looks. He's looked really good so far. And he is a name just to watch for those deeper leagues at this point. Also want to see Rob Williams. Tristan Thompson's going to return. How much will Williams play? Can he get enough blocks to be useful during that time? So that's a key one there for me. For Detroit, Josh Jackson, will he remain in the starting lineup? That would be my belief. I don't really see anything different happening there. We know Blake Griffin is out, so I assume Sadiq Bey is going to get the start there in that one, while Killian Hayes is questionable. Does that mean Jackson gets more ball handling responsibilities, especially if both Griffin and Hayes are out? And I want to see Isaiah Stewart, because Jahlil Okafor's been upgraded to probable. Who gets the backup center role? Is it Stewart? Is it Okafor? And does Stewart eat into Plumlee's time at all? That's something I'm going to be tracking because I can see it happening as the season goes on. Let's see if anything comes to fruition in this first matchup. The second one is the Grizzlies and the Hornets. There's no Grayson Allen. There's no DeAnthony Melton. There's no Ja Morant. I would imagine that Desmond Bane is going to start. I think he's an excellent stream option for the short term. I think he could be better than Allen already. I think he could be better than Dylan Brooks already. If we're going to be totally honest, I want to see how he looks in that starting lineup. I also want to check on Dylan Brooks. I want to check on his usage. I want to check his field goal percentage. I want to check his horrendous shot selection, which he's been putting up numbers. Now, he is a rosterable guy in all formats at this stage, but he is going to hurt that field goal percentage if that's something that you're caring about. For the Hornets, how much LaMelo Ball do we get? He was excellent last time out. I don't think they're going to start him, but he is someone that I think his minutes are going to creep up. Is it going to come at the expense of Devontae Graham? Is it going to come at the expense of Terry Rozier? With how Miles Bridges is playing off the bench, they're not going to run too many three-guard lineups because that would mean fewer minutes for Bridges. So that's something to watch. And speaking of Bridges, how much is he going to play? Is he going to be 22, 23 minutes like the first couple of games? Or 28, 29 like the last couple? Now, it does help that Cody Zeller's out, and then PJ Washington got into foul trouble. Let's look at his minutes. If everyone is ready to go, is he getting 29? Because if he is, then he probably is, at this point, a 12-team league guy. The Mavericks and the Heat, look at DONČIĆ. He's struggling a little bit. The free throws have been pretty good, and that's positive. They weren't that good last game, but everything else is just a little bit off for DONČIČ. So I want to watch him to see if he can get things going. And I also want to check on Josh Richardson, who started out the season pretty hot, was pretty piss poor against the Hornets. I think 1 of 10 shooting in that game. How is he going to look? Because he showed some flashes, but then, at this point, is he more Philadelphia Josh Richardson, or is he Miami Josh Richardson? There's big differences between those two players. For the Heat, who the hell are they going to start? Jimmy Butler's coming back, so it's going to be Butler, Hero, Robinson, and Adebayo. Who's the other guy? Are they going to go with Avery Bradley and play really small? Are they going to put Kelly Olynyk in there? Are they going to continue to start Andre Iguodala? Will they go back to Myers Leonard or Mo Harkless? There are so many question marks there. And speaking of Avery Bradley, how much is he going to play? He's playing like mid to high 20s in minutes. He's a solid 14-team league fantasy option somehow. But with everybody back, how much action is Avery Bradley going to get? I don't know if he's going to get high 20s most games. This is a matchup where the Mavericks are going to have Dorian Finney-Smith starting at power forward, so maybe they can afford to have Jimmy Butler as the starting power forward in this one and go with Bradley alongside Butler and Hero and Robinson in that 1 through 4 alignment. That's something I'm going to be really paying attention to. The Hawks and the Nets, there is no Danilo Gallinari, so how much is Cam Reddish going to play? He was really active last time out against Brooklyn, so I want to see how much he plays, especially if DeAndre Hunter is out, who is listed as questionable, and Clint Capella's minutes are a big focus too, because he has been limited since he's returned from that Achilles problem. So let's see how much they actually play him. For the Nets, Karis LeVert, first game was great, has been probably a little bit disappointing since then, but his ball handling has been excellent. The assist numbers are great. I want to see how he looks, how he integrates with Kyrie and KD, and of course, Jarrett Allen. Is he going to get more minutes than DeAndre Jordan? He has in most games, but not every game. It's an absolute no-brainer that he should play 30 a night, but unfortunately, Steve Nash does not see it that way at this point. The Lakers and the Spurs. Montrezl Harrell. Like a few of these guys, like Karis LeVert, and I think this happens so much in fantasy, it gets burnt into our head what someone did on opening night, and then their performances tail off, and it's happened to Harrell quite a bit. As teams and the Lakers are adjusting to having him around, he's really struggling. I want to watch that, and I want to see Schroeder, who has outperformed Harrell pretty comfortably. He's taking usage away from LeBron and Anthony Davis, which is a curious move on his behalf and also on the coaching staff's behalf. So how much is he going to play? For the Spurs, I talked about this in the pregame show today, that Maximum Derek White is back. He's ready to go. He's cracking. So that's massively interesting, how much they're going to play him. LaMarcus Aldridge is questionable. Is he going to play? How much is he going to play? What does he look like when he's out there playing? They're all big questions. Well, DeJounte Murray's field goal percentage has been absolutely monstrous, as has his assist rate. So let's look to see what his shooting looks like, what his assist rate looks like, and what his usage looks like with Derek White back in the lineup. Who loses out? Does Keldon Johnson lose a ton of minutes? Is it someone like Devin Vassell they just take out of the rotation? Probably. So there are a lot of question marks with how the Spurs are going to look with White back in action. The Bulls and the Bucks. Otto Porter made that spot start for Lauri Markkanen, and Markkanen's going to be out again for this game. So Porter, is he going to be a 70+% shooter? Probably not, but how does he look? And what does that mean for Patrick Williams, whose numbers have been really, really low the last couple of games? And I want to check on Wendell Carter as well, who started out poorly, had a massive run in the third quarter, hurt his hip, returned to the game, had some foul trouble. His numbers are all over the shop. He's a must-roster player, but I want to see how that rotation looks for the Bucks. The Bobby Portis, Brook Lopez combination in that front court. How much is Lopez going to play? How much is Portis going to play? And I also want to check to see whether Thanasis Antetokounmpo is in the rotation again. He has been the backup power forward the last 2 games ahead of DJ Wilson. Will they continue to do that? Will they find a way to get Sam Merrill into the rotation? This is only for deeper leagues, but Thanasis will be someone to watch for in deeper leagues if he can stick into a role in that rotation. The Wizards and the Wolves. There's going to be no Russell Westbrook for Washington, most likely. So Harrell Neto is going to be an excellent streamer. Let's see, he's clearly ahead at this point of Ish Smith in the rotation, so let's see how he looks. And also want to check on Rui Hachimura, who scored well, but minutes were a little bit low as he works his way back from the conjunctivitis absence. But he also just does what Rui does, and that's score. But what else? That's the problem always with Rui. For the Wolves, they are going to be without Josh Okogie and Karl Anthony Towns again, so will Rubio start once more? I would imagine he does. And I also want to check on Jared Vanderbilt, because he's looked awesome. He's looked like the best power forward in this roster. They'll probably start Jarrett Culver at power forward again, but can Vanderbilt get ahead of Layman? Can he get ahead of Hernan Gomez? Can he get ahead of Ed Davis to be the backup center? If that happens, then Vanderbilt absolutely is someone that in deeper leagues you're going to want to pay some attention to. Just keeping an eye on him, I think, is key. The Suns and the Nuggets. We want to check and I'm recording this before the Suns game on Thursday. I want to see DeAndre Ayton. I want to monitor his aggression, how often he gets to the line, how often he settles for mid-range jumpers. Can he do something productive? Well, Cam Johnson's minutes is always important to me. If he gets 28 a night, he does look like a 12-team league guy. It just seems unlikely that he can ever push into that large of a role. For the Nuggets, it's about Michael Porter, who played 40 minutes last game. They lost, so maybe that doesn't stick, but there was some trust given towards him from Michael Malone. We'll see if that continues. And then we're likely to get Jermichael Green's first game here for Denver. How much does that impact guys like Isaiah Hartenstein and Paul Millsap and even Michael Porter to a degree? Because that will limit maybe the opportunities that Porter has to play at power forward. The Clippers and the Jazz, Ibaka's shooting numbers dropped off last game. That was always going to happen, so let's keep an eye on that. And Patrick Beverley cannot stay out of foul trouble, and that means that he's playing like 21, 22 minutes every night, and that's not conducive to fantasy value outside of maybe 16-team leagues. Kawhi will likely be fine. He played last game, so that means fewer minutes for the Duck Luke Kennard. We don't know about Marcus Morris at this point. For the Jazz, again, I'm recording this before the Jazz's game on Thursday, so Donovan Mitchell is going to be the one to watch for there. Can he get those free throw attempts up? And Derek Favors has been listed as probable in every game this year with knee soreness. Now it's a back-to-back. I reckon there's a small chance that he doesn't play in this one, and that maybe gives you some value to stream someone like Udoka Azubuike as the backup center to Rudy Gobert. So I want to check to see whether Favors actually does play in this back-to-back, because that is, at this stage, far from a guarantee. The last game of the day is the Warriors and the Blazers. We want to check on Blunty, James Wiseman. Because the minutes have been low for Wiseman in games that haven't been blowouts, so let's see how he looks. And let's see if Andrew Wiggins, who's been really good the last few games, can he continue that level of play? That remains to be seen. Gary Trent is questionable for the Blazers with that calf issue. The last time we saw him, he was banging in threes on the Lakers left, right, and center. Is he going to play, and can he keep that form up? I'll guess no, in terms of can he keep it up. But let's see how he impacts guys like Carmelo Anthony, Rodney Hood, Anthony Simons. And of course, the big focus is always going to be on Yusuf Nurkic. I don't think he's playing 30 minutes in this game. Can he at least get to... He has played 30 minutes in at least one game this year, though. Let's not forget that. Hopefully he can show some signs of life against a rookie in James Wiseman. I'd feel pretty good about him doing it. But let's hope that Stotts gets on board with the program. Let's hope Nurkic is switched on. He might not be, but he is one of the biggest focuses of the day. That's what I want to watch for on Friday in the NBA. What do you want to watch for? Drop it down below in the comments, guys. I will see you later. I'll be back later on with the recap show from Thursday's action. Have a happy new year.